Hi, friends. I am Keisha Chanel, certified abundant life coach, author, speaker, healer, and I help women rebuild confidence and overcome what took it. And it is 11 days until my book comes out. I'm excited. So I wanted to come on and tell you guys every day. I'm going to be here every day for the next couple of days talking about my book and what it can do for you and what it has done for me. So my book is called I Feel Better Already, Your Journey to Self-Discovery and Self-Confidence. And I lived my book. And so I want to tell you about every day about something that I got from it. And what you can get from it too for the next 11 days. And so today I want to talk about embracing my singleness. One of the biggest things that I've done on my healing journey is embracing my singleness. And one of the things that I see in a lot of women, and no, not in my circles. My circles are women. The women I know are pretty accepting, but a lot of women do have issues with is their singleness. And a lot of times, women will be in relationships and situationships just because they're tired of being single. And even some men, they will marry, not forcibly, but marry sooner than they need to before they've done their healing, just so that for the sake of not being single. And that's, a lot of things. There's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of times especially if you've been in a relationship for a long term, you want that comfort, that thing of you being used to having a relationship, whether it was good or whether it was bad. You're just used to that thing, used to having somebody there with you to go alongside. And then there's also the thing about, man was not created to be alone. We as people, as human beings, crave connection. And so it's a normal thing to want connection. But it's the part is there's nothing wrong with wanting connection. There's nothing wrong with craving connection. But the part is in when you don't have it, when you're in this state of singleness, whether you were married previously and now divorced, or if you're separated, or if you're widowed, whatever the reason is, that's the just accepting wherever you are now. And that's the first step of my Feel Better formula, and that's accepting anything. And what the first thing I want to talk about, or what the topic I want to talk about today, is singleness. So accepting the singleness is important because it's just a reality that you have to accept. And a lot of times you might just not be happy with that thing, and there's nothing wrong with not being happy with it, or wanting something better for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, but just accepting where you are right now. So a lot of times people will just get themselves in a relationship. They'll have or just multiple sexual partners just to do that, just so that they can comfort this ache that they have inside, or soothe this void that they have inside that they think will go away by having multiple partners, or just have a partner, period, and not necessarily be in love with that person or that person be in love with them. A lot of times you'll find that if you're in a situationship, or if you're in a relationship just because you want that feeling of companionship and just sex again, a lot of times if you're not it depends. Sometimes if you've been in a relationship for a long time and you're just getting out, there's this thing is you just need to get your rocks off. It's just a thing. It just kind of happens. And that's understandable. But after a certain amount of time, you kind of want to cool that thing down. But at first, it's kind of understandable. But again, it depends on the person, and it depends on your journey. But then it also it's just you. You could also just be very completely content being in this kind of relationship that you're just like, good and well that person's not crazy about you, and they kind of take you or leave you, and that's okay for you, And if that works for you, that works for you. Everybody has their time. Everybody has their season. But there comes a time that you want to be cherished. You want to be adored. You want to be, know that you're the prize and know that you're valuable. And as long as you don't see yourself that way, another person's not going to see you that way either. So that's one of the things that I had learned in embracing my singleness, is to understand that I am cherished all the time. Even without a partner to cherish me, I cherish me. And it's made all the difference in my life. And even though there are days that I feel like, and I'm very good to admit, and I've done a couple of lives about times that I've been lonely and times that it's been a little bit harder, a little bit more challenging. And I was honest about that. And there are times that I'm just like, it's just a really tough time. But there is never a time that I will just settle for anything just because of that, ache that's a temporary thing. So that's a big thing that's come out with me embracing my singleness. So I kind of wanted to go over a couple of points of the things that I've learned. So one of the biggest first things that I have, well, not first thing, but one of the, I think it's about 5 things that I listed. One of the biggest things is to have peace when I'm alone. And I mentioned peace when I'm alone is because even when you're in a relationship, you are going to have times that you're alone. There's times that he's going to go to work. There's going to be times that he's hanging out with the guys. And there's going to be times that you are, just by yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually very important and healthy that you do that. But a lot of times you want to hop into a relationship because when you're alone, you don't have peace. When you're alone, you just feel like, oh, I need to be with somebody. Oh, I'm just, not anything without another person. And that's a sign of codependency. That's a sign of a problem. When you're alone and you're okay with that aloneness, when you're alone and you find something to do, find something that you enjoy in that aloneness, or you just have peace. Just peace. And that peace is priceless, and that peace can be challenging for some people. And for me, that peace was actually very challenging for a couple of years, actually. And to know now that it's a place that, but it took healing work. It took healing work. It took journaling. It took intention for me to get to this place of just peace, of just being by myself and being okay with being by myself. Not true. I do have a lot of different things going on, and that makes it a little bit easier. But at the same time, I have peace, and peace is priceless, and that's the bottom line. But a lot of people will just hop into something just so that, because they know that they don't have that peace, and it makes them feel better when they're with a person. And if that's you, and you know that you are, the peace that you have in your heart when you know that you're valuable, the peace that you have that you know that it doesn't matter if this person leaves, because what happens if you don't have that peace when you're alone and you get with a person, you'll feel like you have to follow that person around like a puppy, and you'll be a doormat, and you'll just do whatever they say. You'll just go around pleasing them, and they won't be happy because they want a little bit of a challenge, and you won't be happy because you're tired of pleasing them. So it's a vicious circle. So it's very important that you find peace within yourself and peace in your aloneness before you get into a relationship. So embracing your singleness and finding peace. The second thing that I learned in embracing my singleness is learning what I like. I was in a long-term relationship for 30 years. 30 years I was in the relationship, married for 26, in the relationship for 30. And one of those things was I lost myself. Because not only lost myself with marriage, but I lost myself with the children. Everything that I did was for somebody else. Even the food that I ate, places that I went, activities that I did were always revolved around somebody else. So I actually didn't even realize what I liked anymore. The only thing that I knew that I liked, like just me, only me, was dancing. That is the only thing that carried around my life, from childhood to relationship to empty nester to divorce and to singleness again, is dancing. It's the only thing that was continuous. But everything else I had to find out afterwards. But it's also very, very important that you find that out afterwards. Embracing the things that you like to do, finding out what makes you smile, finding out what makes you tick, finding out what gets you pissed off. It's really important for you to find out those things and embrace those things about yourself. And it gives you a sense of self-acceptance and self-discovery, because anytime that you are beholden to another person continuously, ongoing, you lose sight of who you are. And when you lose sight of it, it's almost impossible to grasp. And so until that thing breaks, and you don't want it to have to break for that. So you could actually be in a relationship. You don't have to necessarily be single to do self-acceptance and to do self-discovery. It's really important for you to understand what you like so that you can have a better relationship with the person, and also a relationship with yourself. And that's one of the things that I've learned, and one of the things that I talk about in the book, I Feel Better Already, is self-acceptance and learning what I like. The other thing, the third thing that I learned was that I recognize that I do want a man, but I'm enjoying my life until he comes. So one of the things that I did very early and I've been on the dating sites different times of my singleness is I used to always just like stop my life until I got a man, until or even till I had girlfriends to do stuff with. And I felt like my life is going to start when I'm going to have fun when. And one thing that I talk about in my book is that you can have fun right now. You can embrace your life right now. You can enjoy your life right now, because it goes back to the part about self-discovery. Recognizing who you are right now before that person comes is imperative, so that you can know who you are and feel amazing about how you feel. But it's important that you embrace yourself, so that you can know who you are in singleness and not wait until the guy comes. Because what if the guy never does come? Even though it's a scary thought, that might not be something that you want to think about, but it can be reality for some people. And you don't want to have your life on hold completely just until somebody else comes to fill that life, because you are still living your life right now, and you're going to still live your life when the person comes. And you don't know if that person is going to like to do the same stuff that you do. Let's say that you always wanted to hike Mount Kilimanjaro, or you always have on your bucket list, you want to go to Australia. That's one of the places that's on my bucket. And your new partner, his bucket list is Africa. You have no interest in going to Africa. His bucket list is also Antarctica, just because he likes glaciers or whatever. Your bucket list is not Antarctica. So are you never going to live your bucket list because he has a completely different one? Just think about that. It's important that you understand what you like and enjoy your life now. Think about all the restaurants that you could be going to, all the places that you could be going to, the things that you can enjoy right now before he comes. Whether you do it with a girlfriend, or whether you do it by yourself, or with a family member, or a group. There's lots of traveling groups out there. All different kinds of things, different people that you can get with, so that you can enjoy your life right now before he comes. And that's a part of self-acceptance, but that's also part of releasing and also building up confidence. Because sometimes to get out of that comfort zone of, oh, I'd be so much more comfortable if, and true, we'd all feel much more comfortable if. But in the meantime, right here, right now, enjoy your life. Enjoy yourself. And that's one thing that I've learned how to do, and that I share in the book that I've learned how to do. And I'm so glad that I'm enjoying my life. So many things in my life that I want to help you do that too. So the fourth thing that I've learned how to do is what I tell myself. What I tell myself is so very important, and what you tell yourself is so very important. I have a morning routine that I tell myself wonderful things things in the morning, and I have a book of affirmations. It's called You Better Say It, and it's 50 affirmations for women who have trouble believing in themselves. And some affirmations are a little bit harder to say. So saying that you're willing to learn something, willing to be something, willing to step out there and stretch. That's a first start. And that's one of the things that I learned, is telling myself a better story, telling myself kinder words, telling myself so many good things. And I include that in my affirmations ebook, and it's on my bio for Pay What You Want. Whatever you want to pay is you can pay. And it could be as little as $7, I think. As little as $7 to completely change your mind to saying better things about yourself. Or you can get the book and you can work on it that way with the exercises that are included in there. But either way, what you tell yourself, because a lot of times, and I don't know if people have seen, I think it was a clip that Michelle Obama did, but I don't know about y'all, but she is like, her and Barack are like the epitome of black love for me. I just freaking love them. So when she came out and said, that she had times that she had to tell herself positive things, because even though Barack pours love on her all the time, she had to come to a place of positive self-talk and, telling herself a better story. So if she has to have to work on that, everybody should make sure that they work on that. And the beautiful thing about it is she shared it. She was honest and shared her truth. And my truth is, for a long time. And then sometimes I had that thing of negative self-talk, and that's why it's something that I have to work on intentionally. Like when I recognize that it slips up, I have to say, okay, This is not something that I want to tell myself. I want to tell myself a better story, and that's what I have to do. And so that's what the affirmations ebook will help you do, and that's what the book will help you do. Tell yourself a better story, and that is imperative to do, especially if you're single and you don't have that person to love on you and that person to tell you good things. It's important for you to love on you and for you to tell yourself good things. And you can't have that it be an excuse of, well, I didn't have anybody to tell me that they love me, and I don't have anybody to help me. And that was an excuse for me for a very, very, very long time, until I've done enough healing work and I've taken enough classes and I've learned enough to know that my joy is my job, and my how I feel about myself is my responsibility. 9 times out of 10, and then I think it was Joyce Meyer that said, when the person you're with all day is you, even when you get a partner, you're not going to be with them 24/7. You're going to be with yourself 24/7. You can't even get away from yourself to go to the bathroom. You're going to be with yourself in the bathroom. You're going to be with your thoughts in the bathroom. You're going to be with your thoughts when you go to the grocery store. Everything you do, you will be with you. So you have to make sure that you have a good relationship with you. So that's one of the things that I include in the book, going through the things, and I talk about getting to that place of forgiving myself and learning how to love myself. It's very, very important. It's very important, especially because if you want to have a relationship with another person, you have to love on yourself so that you can have a full cup, so that your love that you have for yourself can overflow to your partner, to your children, to your friends, and also to God, because when you have that good relationship with him, and he can pour love back into you, and so that you can pour it into other people, and it's not a vicious but a great circle and a great cycle. So it's really important about what you tell yourself. Another great thing that I recognize about embracing my singleness is taking responsibility for my own decisions. A lot of the time, again, I was in a very, very long-term relationship, and I had become very used to my ex-husband making every decision for me, like every decision except what I wore every day and what I cooked, and I did the grocery shopping, and that was pretty much it. Every other decision was his, and so whenever anything didn't go right, it was his fault. Whenever everything did go right, it was his fault. So it was just like, it was easy, and because I had a very, very stressful job, and then also for me, taking care of the kids was very stressful. So anytime that I could default work to somebody else, I'll just default it. I didn't want to be bothered. And so to have somebody else take the responsibility of my decisions, take the responsibility of things that I had to do, it felt good. It felt easy. It felt relaxed. But now, being a single person, every decision that I make is mine. And so it was very, very, very scary at first. But now it's very liberating, knowing that, my credit score is my responsibility, and it's my good job, Keisha. The success of my business is my job, and it's me showing up on social media and inspiring people. It's my job. Good job, Keisha. So, and me being a good mother to my kids is my job. Good job, Keisha. Me showing up for me. And the biggest decision that you can make, because it's not just about financial decisions, what you're going to do with the house, where you're going to live, that kind of stuff. It's also the amount of love that you have, because the amount of love that you have, that you give to yourself, is a choice. When you give, you make sure that you decide to love on yourself properly, to not have to be in a relationship that you're loved and not just tolerated. That's your decision, and it's kind of humbling when you think about it, because it's easy just to be in a place and settle just because, I'm gonna just stay here, because being lonely is real. Being lonely is real, and it's just like but it's a mindset, because you can be alone. I'm alone in my house right now, but I don't feel lonely. I feel very content. Partly, I'm talking to you. I'm actively, talking and doing this live, but it's also a feeling of contentment, and contentment is a level of peace, because anytime that you feel lonely is longing, and that longing is not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. And so it's important that you get past that feeling, because even when you're in a relationship, you are going to have times that you are alone. And so it's important that you get a handle on that feeling and get to cope with the emotions that come with that. We're having Coach Connection on Wednesday, and that's where we're going to talk about commanding the emotion. So it's something that you want to definitely stay tuned for. But it's also something that we have to work on as human beings, to command our emotions. And so, making that decision, recognizing that sometimes people want to be in a relationship just so that they can have somebody else that's responsible, and like if you've had a lot of heartbreak, and you can easily blame the men in your life that have done something to you for the heartbreak. But now, if you're not in a relationship, the responsibility is your own. It's your responsibility to love on yourself. It's your responsibility to make sure that you're taken care of and that you're provided for and loved, and also allowing God's love into your heart and into your life. So it's easy to want to default to somebody else, especially if you've been in a relationship for a long time, and that's what your standard was. But what happens a lot of times, if you've been alone for a long time, those standards drop. And that's not what God wants for you. He doesn't want your standards to drop. He wants you to feel good about yourself, and he wants you to be cherished the same way that he cherishes you. So it's important that you keep your standards up and keep loving on yourself, so that you can attract that kind of person that you really, really want. And the last point that I wanted to make about embracing my singleness and embracing your singleness, and how my book will help you do that, is recognizing that it's better to be alone than to be in a relationship where you are tolerated or not cherished. Now, I've mentioned before about, when you're alone for a long time, sometimes you'll just be like, oh, I'm just going to hop in with this next person just because you don't want to be alone anymore. And that could be your thing, and it could be okay for a time, but you don't want to go to a place after a while, because every time you get in a relationship, even a situationship, the first time you get in it, it's all fun and giggles and yay, this is great. This is endorphins rushing and this feels all fun. But after a while, if you're in a place and that person does not adore you and they just tolerate you, you'll feel it. And it's not a loving feeling, it's a drain feeling. And it's a drain for both of you, because you know good and well it's settling for both of you. And if it's somebody is settling for you, you're settling for them. And it's not good for either one of you. And so for me, it's better to be alone than to be in that place that I'm tolerated. And that's not what I want to settle for ever again. I've been there and it doesn't feel good. And it doesn't feel good to you either. But that's something that you have to admit, something that you have to accept, and something that you have to say, no, I'm ready for more than that. I think I deserve love, like real love. And you can see love on Instagram and social media and stuff like that. But even, sometimes that's not always necessarily true. But what's that? Oh my God. That's funny. But it can not necessarily be true. But in your heart what real love is. What being catered to and being affectionate, a mutual love, a mutual exchange of love, a mutual sharing of hearts, a mutual openness, a mutual emotional availability. That's what you want. And if you know that you're not in a place, that you're not quite open, you're not quite healed, you're going to be closed. It's just a fact. And so in being closed, you put up that wall. You also, prevent you from getting hurt, but it also prevents you from getting love in. So it's really, really important that you do your healing work before you get into a relationship. And because otherwise you'll be in a place again, the same kind of stuff that you were in the last relationship, you'll get again. And that's no fun. And so that's why it's important that you do your healing work, that you do all the stuff that's in my Feel Better formula to get to the place that you feel better already before you get a man, before you get into another relationship, before you even get into another situationship. Because they do feel good for a little bit, but after so many of those situationships, It can actually drain you because you're going back into all these different sexual energies and all these energy exchanges between you and that partner and the partners before you that person had, and it's just a whole mess. And so it's not worth it. So I just wanted to share with you guys all the different things that I have done with embracing my singleness, and I'm so grateful for it. And it's just peace. Peace is priceless, and I am so glad that I have it. And my phone is dying, but this is just perfect time because I was ending. And so you click the link in my bio, I think it's the top button, to order my book, to pre-order my book. It's on pre-order now. It is I Feel Better Already, Your Journey to Self-Discovery and Self-Confidence. And I'm so excited for you to get it. I'm so excited for you to go to that journey. And you could also get the digital course download to work with me, and would call every week for 5 weeks, so that we can get to the root. So you can ask questions, so you can share your story, you can share your journey with other different women, that are in the same place, and that, so you can heal together. Healing with community is so important. That is one of the biggest things that has helped me in my healing journey is community. Hey, and so I strongly encourage you to, hey there, hi, to strongly encourage you to click the link on the bio and not only just get the book, but get the course that goes with it, so you can work through, because some stuff can be worked through with a book, but some stuff you need a person to answer questions and dig deep into that thing if you want it to work and if you want it to stick for long term. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I look forward to working with you and y'all getting in on the book and on the course. It's going to be fantastic. I'm so excited and looking forward to it. So in case nobody has told you today, let me be the first, that I see you, I hear you, I feel you, and I love you, and God does too. Have a blessed night.